Setiap dari kita hadir dan dilahirkan di dunia dengan membawa tugas dan perutusan kita masing-masing. Begitu banyak lika-liku dalam kehidupan yang datang silih berganti dalam kehidupan kita ini. Tuhan akan menyertai perjalanan hidup kita untuk memenuhi tugas dan panggilan hidup kita. Sampai tugas kita selesai, kita kembali ke rumahnya yang abadi di surga. Dan video ini adalah video kesaksian bahwa Tuhan kita ada dan nyata. Miracle still do happen. Keajaiban masih terus terjadi. Saya, Riana Atmajaya, mengajak teman-teman untuk berkunjung ke salah satu teman kita di sini yang baru saja mengalami kesembuhan ajaib. Miracle dari Tuhan yang menyembuhkannya dari kanker otak stadium 4 yang sangat ganas dan sudah tidak ada harapannya lagi. Teman saya ini bernama lengkap Indra Rosalia Hadi Surya, yang biasa dipanggil akrab dengan sebutan Ci Silvi. Halo Ci.
Hai.
Terima kasih untuk waktunya kita boleh bercakap-cakap hari ini. Dan sebelum bercakap-cakap dengan Ci Silvi, mari kita akan melihat cuplikan foto-foto dan cerita seputar sakit penyakit yang beliau alami. Miracle of life. Setiap hidup adalah kesempatan. Indra Rosalia Hadi Surya adalah seorang single mother dengan 2 orang anak yang sudah dewasa. Dia adalah seorang yang aktif bekerja dan sangat suka jalan-jalan dan menikmati hidup dengan keluarga dan teman-temannya. Pertengahan Maret 2015, ia mulai merasa terganggu dengan batuk-batuk kering yang dia alami setiap hari. Dan setelah dicek ke dokter, ahli paru, ternyata diketemukan ada kanker di paru-paru sebelah kirinya, yang biarpun tumbuh lambat, tetapi berbahaya. September 2015, operasi dilaksanakan. Mereka mengangkat 2/3 dari paru-paru sebelah kirinya, dan dilanjutkan dengan kemoterapi selama 8 kali, sampai kanker dinyatakan sembuh. Dan dia kembali menjalankan hidupnya dengan normal. Tetapi 5 tahun kemudian, pada bulan November 2020, 5 tahun setelah sembuh dari kanker parunya, kembali ia merasa sesak napas dan batuk. Ternyata kanker kembali dengan jenis yang sama. Sempat merayakan pesta pertunangan anaknya dan jalan-jalan ke Hawaii dengan teman-teman. Dokter memutuskan untuk radiasi 3 kali. Akan tetapi di tengah proses radiasi, dia mengalami sakit kepala yang amat sangat hebat dan sangat mengganggu. Pada awal, dokter hanya mengira itu adalah efek sampingan dari radiasi yang sedang dikerjakan. Tetapi pada saat mereka ingin melakukan cek lebih lanjut, dia terjatuh di rumah sakit karena sakit kepala yang tiba-tiba menyerangnya. Dan dokter pun memutuskan untuk melakukan MRI test. Dan benar, hasilnya diketemukan 3 benjolan besar di kepala dan 5 benjolan di kelenjar tulang pangkal leher. Dokter menyatakan itu adalah kanker otak stadium keempat. Berbagai cara diusahakan oleh tim dokter untuk mengobati kanker tersebut. Tetapi tidak satupun jenis pengobatan yang diterima oleh tubuhnya. Karenanya kondisi badan jadi menurun secara drastis dan kesadaran mulai menurun dan sering pingsan. Bulan Maret 2021, akhirnya dokter berkata, tinggal tunggu waktu. Karena tidak ada jalan lain. Satu-satunya jalan adalah dengan mencoba obat-obatan baru yang sedang mereka uji coba. Trial treatment. Kalau berhasil, baik. Tetapi kalau tidak, keluarga harus merelakan Ci Silvi untuk pergi. Tidak ada pilihan lagi, karena hidup Ci Silvi yang sudah tergantung dengan alat-alat dan oksigen. 2 kali menerima sakramen perminyakan dari romo sahabat keluarga mereka, dengan satu permintaan dari Ci Silvi, agar Tuhan memberikan kesempatan kepadanya untuk bisa hidup lagi, dan bisa meluangkan waktu dengan anak-anaknya. Kita semua, termasuk saya dan suami, kita cuma bisa menemani dan memberikan kekuatan buat Ci Silvi dan keluarga pada saat-saat krisis dalam hidupnya. kita sudah siap kalau Tuhan memanggil dia kembali. Dan ternyata doa kita semua dan doa Ci Silvi didengarkan oleh Tuhan. Awal Februari 2022 yang lalu, dokter menyatakan kalau kanker di otak dan di batang leher dan juga di paru-parunya sembuh total, bersih semua. Puji Tuhan. Tuhan memberikan kesempatan ketiga untuk Ci Silvi untuk hidup kembali dan menjalani hari-hari dalam kehidupannya bersama-sama dengan anak-anaknya dan juga bersama-sama dengan kita, para sahabat-sahabatnya. Hidup adalah kesempatan. Mujizat masih terjadi bagi mereka yang percaya kepadanya. Dan kita akan berbincang-bincang dengan Ci Silvi. Boleh. Tentang pengalamannya nih, diberikan kesempatan ketiga oleh Tuhan. Halo Ci, apa kabar?
Baik, terima kasih.
Gimana rasanya nih diberikan kesempatan ketiga oleh Tuhan?
Happy banget. Bersyukur banget.
Luar biasa ya Tuhan kita ya.
Ya.
Tuhan amat sangat begitu baik. Dan apa yang Cici rasakan pada saat-saat krisis dalam kehidupan Cici waktu itu, kalau boleh sharing?
Yang aku rasakan, aku ada rasa takut, aku ada rasa putus asa, tapi itu cuma sekejap aja. Karena akhirnya aku menyadari bahwa aku tuh mesti lebih berpasrah pada Tuhan, surrender, whatever the God want, it's gonna happen. So
whatever will be, will
be. And then terus aku waktu itu sempat berpikir ya, oh mungkin aku akan segera mati, gitu. Karena dokter sendiri yang bilang kan kita umur cuma 2 minggu. Gitu. Terus kalau aku mati itu kira-kira gimana ya, gitu. Aku udah siap apa belum, gitu.
Ada perasaan takut nggak, Ci?
Takut. Justru karena takut itu, jadi aku berasa aku udah siap belum ya, gitu. Tapi akhirnya entah bagaimana, banyak yang doain, banyak yang gitu, anak datang. Terus aku diberi kekuatan dan puji Tuhan aku terus kuat, bangun, dan tekad buat fighting itu kencang banget. Dan aku selalu positive thinking gitu. Bahwa andai kata aku harus mati, ya aku jalannya mati, Tuhan sendiri yang bakal jemput aku. Kalau aku mau hidup, aku akan sehat dan puji Tuhan.
Terus motivasi kuat apa, Ci, yang sebenarnya mendorong Cici untuk mau terus bertahan, Ci?
Gini, aku nih udah kerja keras karena melihat mau anak kita sukses. Nah sekarang pada saat anak kita mulai sukses, udah istilahnya bisa berdikari sendiri, aku tuh belum ngerasakan gitu. Jadi aku hidup cuman kerja terus mati gitu. Jadi aku pikir, aduh kalau aku bisa hidup lagi gitu, bisa Tuhan kasih kesempatan aku ini gitu. Jadi aku berdoa, minta Tuhan, minta itu gitu. Nah makanya pada saat pastor terakhir bilang mau minta apa waktu itu udah benar-benar kita udah pasrah, udah pokoknya udah benar-benar di ambang maut. Nah pastornya bilang mau minta apa sebelum dia mulai kasih pempinyakan, terus mau minta apa. Terus aku bilang gini, kalau ditanya gitu, aku bilang aku minta diberi kesempatan hidup lagi, tapi aku nggak memaksa Tuhan. Semua tergantung dari Tuhan. Pokoknya aku nggak pernah memaksa. Aku minta dikasih kekuatan aja gitu. No matter life and or death, aku kuat gitu. Dan anak-anak juga. Sepertinya anak-anakku semua udah siap. Karena memang mereka udah tahu larinya tuh ke situ. Gitu.
Dan Ci, pernah bertanya nggak Ci ke Tuhan? Apakah Tuhan itu ada dan Tuhan mendengarkan doa-doa Cici, terutama pada saat-saat di mana kita udah nggak berdaya?
Ada.
Pasti ya?
Pasti. I think semua orang pasti. Gitu. Tapi karena kita dari kecil dididik percaya sama Tuhan, ya keyakinan, walaupun sempat goyah, tapi akhirnya timbul keyakinan lebih tinggi bahwa Tuhan itu ada. Tuhan itu pasti dengar kita. Gitu. Karena beberapa kali kejadian pada saat aku disudutkan sama situasi yang sulit dalam kehidupan aku, itu memang Tuhan datangnya selalu pada saat kita udah mau putus asa ya, nggak mungkin kita begitu
di ujung tanduk
ya kita susah terus kita datang persoalan terus langsung kita minta sama Tuhan enggak, biasanya tuh Tuhan menguji kita supaya kita sampai ambang batas di mana tuh kekuatan gitu loh. Makanya aku begitu udah pasti aku ada jalan. Tuhan pasti kasih jalan. Karena beberapa pengalaman yang hidup yang aku alami.
Itu namanya pengujian iman.
Berat ya.
Tapi semua orang-orang hebat, semua orang-orang besar di dalam kitab suci semua diuji sama Tuhan. Oke. Dan apa yang Cici inginkan pada saat ini nih, ketika Tuhan memberikan kesempatan ketiga buat Cici?
Apa yang saya inginkan buat ya aku kalau bisa ya melayani Tuhan ya dengan jalan ya bersaksi memberi siapapun ketemu orang apalagi yang lagi sakit kita kasih kekuatan gitu aku mau share kesulitan hidup aku bagaimana gitu ya
dan gimana Cici overcome ya
gimana cara dari dalam keadaan sulit di ujung tanduk terus kita bisa lewati semua dan move on
dan tips-tips buat teman-teman yang saat ini mengalami sakit seperti apa yang Cici alami apa Ci?
Jangan pernah menyerah, keep fighting, positive thinking, pokoknya nomor satu Tuhan. Kita memang bisa dapat dokter yang baik, dokter bagus, obat paten, obat apa, tapi kalau Tuhan nggak mau kita itu nggak akan terjadi. Jadi kita percayalah bahwa Tuhan nomor satu dan Tuhan yang akan menentukan, yang akan memimpin dokter-dokter itu itu yang pengalaman saya.
Terima kasih Ci untuk sharingnya ke kita hari ini dan buat teman-teman yang mungkin ada pertanyaan buat Ci Silvi nanti boleh ditanyakan di kolom komen. Nanti kalau kita bisa menjawab kita akan menjawab. Nah sebentar lagi kita akan berbincang-bincang dengan kebetulan anaknya Ci Silvi, Audrey yang kebetulan adalah seorang dokter yang taking care of the mother yang menjaga dan mengurus maminya pada saat-saat dalam keadaan genting dalam kehidupannya. Kita akan berbincang-bincang dengan Dr. Audrey. Now we are together with Dr. Audrey, a medical doctor that's taking care of the mother. Hello,
hi
Audrey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for spending time with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
So we want to talk more about you as a daughter and you as the doctor here, taking care of mom. As a witness here, so that everybody can know, what's going on in a medical term, and also, as you as a daughter as well. Okay, so let me ask you a few questions. How do you feel when you heard that your mom was sick again? She was sick in 2015 and she was sick again. How do you feel about that?
I think obviously I was very surprised. It's one thing, and then the other one, I obviously was very sad and devastated that she is once again very sick. So I think those are the two kind of emotions that I had. Surprised that she was completely healthy, just months before we went on a trip together, she was completely fine, and then now she's not. And then I also was obviously very sad.
So when the doctor at the local hospital said that she's dying and with no hope, you must be feeling very devastated at that moment. Obviously
I was. I think it's just something that I couldn't believe, right? It's kind of I saw her before and she's healthy. We went to Hawaii together, and then just a couple months before, and then the fact that now she is bedbound, can't walk, it's not really there. It's very, hard to believe. And honestly,
that's right.
Very sad.
So I'm sure that you've been through a lot with mom in her treatment. So what happened during the treatment? Do you really believe that she can get cured at that moment do you believe that, like miracles still do happen?
Well, I think honestly, I was because I was born and raised like believing in God, and then I know that miracles happen, and I've seen miracles happen through like mission trips and stuff. But because I'm also a doctor, like I'm able to see like both sides of it, because miracles is all about faith in God,
Yes.
right? Versus like medicine or medical medicine, it's all based on science, right? And what's the likelihood of something happening? And so I think during that time we had to hope for miracles.
So is that what your mom's experience can be considered as a miracle in medical field?
Yeah, I would consider that honestly, because just her condition. So she had lung cancer before, but this is a mets, right? Metastatic, so meaning it's spread somewhere else. And for her, it's spread to her brain, but it's not just her brain. So her condition is called leptomeningeal carcinoma, which is meaning that the cancer is in the tissue that's surrounding the brain and her spinal cord. Pretty much.
I see.
So if you are a woman, then you know that before you deliver, sometimes you get epidural, right, where they inject the anesthetics into the spinal cord. So for her, it's in there as well. So it's not that it's just one part of the brain or somewhere else where you can just do surgery and cut it and then it will be fine. But for her, it's pretty much everywhere. So that's why for her, it's already stage 4.
I see. So it means that the cancer, the tumor is already spreading from the brain to the spinal and then to the end. Wow.
And that's why it's really bad, right? Because when you already spread, it's spreading to that spinal cord area. The spinal cord connects to every part. It's like a highway that's connecting all parts of your body, right? So it was, thankfully she didn't have it anywhere else, but the fact that it's already surrounding the brain and in that spinal cord, it's really bad.
Wow. And I know that, I'm sure that you learned something very valuable through this whole situation, right? Seeing the whole thing, seeing the whole things that your mom experienced, your mom, having those episodes, going back and forth to ER, going back and forth to, to treatment and all the other stuff. It must be, wow, what an experience.
Yeah, it's really bad. And I think I just want to know, I just want to let you guys know how severe it was. So in terms of her options at that time, so imagine she was already, like she couldn't walk. She would have seizures and then she would pretty much be bedbound, right? She couldn't do anything herself at all. And sometimes her mental state's not even there. And so for the options at that time was, one is whole brain radiation, because there's no way that she could have surgery because it's everywhere. Right? It's not just one part of the brain where you can just cut off. So it's whole brain radiation. And the thing with these options is just for prolonging life. In medical terms, it's not something that it's going to be completely cured, right? It's just prolonging life, so then she can have more days with us or months or years with us, hopefully, right? So one option is that. So we did the whole brain radiation, but we only did one session because she couldn't tolerate the side effects, because the side effects were so bad for her. And so what are the other options? The other option is doing like a daily chemotherapy pill. And so, but with that too, the side effects are really bad and we don't even know if it's going to work out. Right? So it's just something that we'll just try and hope for the best. So we did try that one. That one made her actually be a lot better, but it actually, the side effect for that medication for my mom specifically is the lung side effect. So it caused lung inflammation, so her whole lungs were all inflamed, and kind of part of it was like scarring, and so she couldn't breathe. So she had to be hospitalized twice at that time, just because she needs high flow oxygen. Pretty much she needs really lots of oxygen until the lung hopefully is not as inflamed, right? And so with that, because she's been hospitalized twice, and then we think that, okay, it's probably the side effect of the medication. And that was really hard for us to hear, because that medication is helping her. So if we just take that away, then what's going to happen, right? It was kind of like her last hope, right? And then so we were holding on to, hopefully it's not the medication that's causing the lung problem. But when we, after the first hospitalization, we took her off for a little bit, and then we restarted that again. And then just weeks after, she had to go back to the hospital for the same problem, because she couldn't breathe. So then we know, that's when we know, okay, it's most likely that's the, they cannot accept it, right? And then she can't get like biopsy or anything at that time to really find the cause of the lung problem, because she wasn't in any good shape for that, right? So the option, the other option then throughout this whole thing is palliative or hospice care, meaning that we just let time and God do whatever they want without any treatment. It's just kind of keeping her comfortable during this whole time. And so after, but when we talked to Mom, she didn't want to do that yet. She wanted to do everything we can. So after we found out that that daily chemo medication wasn't working for her, we were once again devastated, right? And so we're like, okay, is there any other option for her? And so the doctor had to, you know, talk to other doctors, and basically maybe there's this other medication, but it's first generation. So with the first generation, the one she was taking was fourth generation. So meaning that the side effects is better, right? Imagine the first generation is just the first medicine ever. So all the bad side effects that you hear about, it's in that medication. So, but at that time we were like, okay, why don't we just try it and hope for the best? Because if that doesn't work out, then honestly it's just hospice care. So we tried that, and then thankfully, like, it works for her, and so that's why she's also, you know, still here right now. And then she has bad side effects from it, but compared to what it was before, obviously it's just something that we have to deal with every day. But so, and honestly, with all these things as well, right? It's like the medical, we're trying these things, but honestly, I still believe that at the end of the day, it's also, this is a miracle. Like, she shouldn't be here right now. She shouldn't be living right now. Yes, I'm a medical doctor. I know what the, you know, what's supposed to happen. But I know that, you know, she has a lot of faith, and, you know, she's praying every day. And a lot of people and every family member, friends, we're all praying for her. And then I think, like, Mom just asked God, like, you know, I want to have more time to live. And then thankfully God heard that, along with, you know, these medication that is helping her. But I honestly don't think that it's just the medication that's keeping her alive. If that makes sense.
I'm sure that, you know, like, God is, you know, like, doing something here. You know, like, God is always giving us a chance, right? Okay, because her duty here is not done yet.
And then that's why I think she's able to be here to kind of, you know, talk to you guys, and then let you guys know and share just her testimony. And the fact that, I mean, she was literally on the brink of death, and then now she's here, she's, you know, talking and just sharing her story. I think it hopefully gives you all, like, hope that you can get through it, and just have faith as well.
So thank you so much for, you know, sharing about how you feel, about your expertise and Mom's situation and all the other stuff, you know, like, thank you for your time. Thank you for, you know, like, thank you for being the witness. You know, like, I'm sure, you know, like, all these things happen to strengthen your faith as well. Okay, that God is there for each one of us. So thank you, Sylvie, for your time. Thank you.
I want to say something before we close. So I want to thanks to my daughter, my son, you know, because they're really, really patient to me, and they take care of me. And then you too, while I'm sick, you always come and then pray for me too. So, and for everybody who always pray for me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, dalam kehidupan kita saling membantu, saling membutuhkan satu sama lain, dan kita ada untuk satu sama lain. Dan miracle masih terjadi, keajaiban masih terjadi. Tuhan hidup dan Tuhan nyata. Tuhan masih bekerja. Jangan putus asa. Jangan pernah menyerah dalam perjuangan dalam kehidupan ini. Always be positive. Kalau Tuhan bisa menyembuhkan Ci Sylvie, Tuhan pun pasti bisa menyembuhkan teman-teman yang saat ini sedang sakit. Saya, Liana Atmajaya, Ci Sylvie, dan juga Audrey, kita pamit dari teman-teman sampai kita berjumpa kembali di video yang akan datang. Have a good one. God bless.
Thank you.